Welcome to Eldritch Hacks, where we talk about the dark tech magic and make it fun and interesting and easy for you to understand, focused on cybersecurity of both offense and defense. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eldritch Hacks. I'm your host, Christian Cooper, and today's episode is going to be about local artificial intelligence deployment on your own machine. We're going to be looking at how to find old artificial-based models, put it on top of your machine, give it its own data sets to be more specialized using your own computer and resources rather than having to rely on ChatGPT and other AI models out there. So, without further ado, let's dive in and talk about it. So, if you've been living under a rock or you don't know much about AI, you've noticed that this term's been tossed around a lot and that it's on pretty much everything else out there. What is AI's purpose? It's mainly to make jobs and things easier with a bigger, broader scope out there to help you out with your tasks that you're doing. So let's actually talk about what is AI. AI refers to the ability of computer systems to perform tasks that are typically done with human-based intelligence. And it uses learning and problem solving and decision making to do a variety of different tasks out there. It uses a lot of technologies and techniques that enables the machine to look at data, recognize patterns, and make those predictions based off of the analysis and to perform those actions. So basically, in short, AI is able to say, okay, I see a lot of these different things. I kind of understand what's going on. Let me help you with this task. Let me automate it. Let me make it faster. And let me do it in a bigger scope for you. It's not always 100% accurate, but it does make it to where I can have 80% of my work done, and then I can work on those few cases out there. And it makes it to where the scope of a lot of work in the tech space is a lot quicker. Now, on top of that, we're going to be talking today about LLMs and datasets. What is an LLM? It is a type of artificial intelligence model that is trained on a massive amount of text. It's also known as a large language model. LLM makes sense. LLMs are designed to understand, generate, and enable them to do tasks such as, generating text, having a conversation basically, translating, so looking at different languages and saying, okay, here's how you kind of say this. Also, it's good at answering questions. It takes a lot of the reference material, grabs it, and is able to answer your question. It's also good for using it the same tactic for making images and a variety of other ones depending on what exactly the model specializes in. The other thing that we're going to be looking at is data sets. It's basically a collection of data points that is used on the AI model as its reference material to do its performance. So a really good way to look at this, because I know that's kind of a lot to take in. LLMs are basically, they've been trained on tons and tons of data of how communication between humans work. So because of that, they're able to really understand and talk to you like a regular Joe. You don't want it just dropping tons of this crazy, like, Harvard level thesis paper on you and you have no clue what it says. It talks to you more like a human because it understands and it has tons of reference material to build off of that. Now, as for the data sets, this is actually a really good picture that I made myself, where the user asks the AI a question, the AI then goes up and does its reference up there, where it reads the book, and then it is able to, at its best it could possibly do, answer the question. A really good way to think about this is, say like you are a chef and you are wanting to make a Spanish restaurant. You only have a certain amount of materials, so you really want to also get the theme of a classic Spain experience, and you want to have as much like recipes as you can as possible with the materials that you have. What do? Well, with AI, this makes it really easy to where we can actually do some different things with it. I can upload tons of pictures of cookbooks and things out there of recipes from that region, upload them, use them as a reference material. The AI then looks at those reference materials of all of those different Spanish cooking books, and then you can list all the items that you can use, and it'll say, hey, here's a list of the recipes that you can actually make with the materials that you have. And that just is like one of the things of AI. It's not just the tech space, it's also the restaurant business, the healthcare business, the everything. Even the driving spaces now has AI that drives cars from place to place. It's insane how crazy this business is going, and that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today, of making it to where it's in your own machine and you can specialize your own AI based off of some of the old models that have been released out there. So, without further ado, we're going to be jumping into LM Studio, which is a really awesome software that is able to make it to where it's really streamlined process and very easy. Before we begin though, I do gotta let you know, if you're using your own machine, you need to understand what your machine is able to and capable of doing. So if you have less than 16 gigs of RAM, I don't recommend doing this. Know your limits of your machine. Also make sure that your CPU is relatively new, within like at least the last 5 years, as a lot of this is going to be using computer power of your own machine. So just keep that in mind when we're going into this. So I just want to get that out there. Just let everybody know, hey, understand that, you know, you got to use what your limits of your machine is, and also so you guys can't sue me. So anyways, let's jump in and go ahead and check out LM Studio. Alright, so now that we're on the LM Studio website, it's going to be also in the description down below for anyone that is following. And at the top there, you're going to click on that little lovely download right up here. Once you click on that, you actually have a thing for a variety of your different versions. So it has Mac OS, Linux, and good old Windows. Now, you're going to notice that there is only the 32-bit version and the ARM64 Snapdragon. ARM64 Snapdragon's more meant for like tablets and special based hardware. You're actually going to want the 32-bit, even if you are 64-bit, it should work out just fine on your system. And as for the build, you're just going to do whatever the latest build is, or sometimes it just has like just a one build. But yeah, so basically just choose whatever the latest build is. Choose the 32-bit version if they still don't have the 64-bit version, and hit the lovely download button. Alright, now that we've downloaded LM Studio, we can actually begin. So the first thing that you're going to want to know is, as soon as you download it, it's going to ask you if you're a beginner, intermediate, or expert. Just go ahead and choose beginner, as it'll give you a rough tutorial of how the app works. And on top of it, it gives you a free open AI GPT model, which is awesome because obviously ChatGPT is like one of the more popular models out there for LLMs. So it gives you a really good groundwork to build the AI in the beginning. So now that you have it downloaded, let's talk about this graphics user interface, this GUI, and see what we can do. So first off, at the bottom, you're going to see your good old text box here that you can type to be able to use it. Over here at the very top is the models that you're going to be using. So if you actually click it, it has your models and what's currently loaded, and you can actually click it and then it slowly loads. Now on top of that, we can add instructions. This allows us to add guardrails or kind of the scope or the mentality that we want it to have. So I could ask things like, make it sound, or actually we'll say, you are a pirate, and answer in pirate slang, or slang. Okay, there. So we have that. Hi. And then it's going to go through, it's going to look through the instructions, it's going to load real quick, and then it'll generate that. So it's loading the prompt. And like that, it's done. I forgot that I'm recording, so it was kind of already using a lot of my RAM. But as you can see here, ahoy matey, how can I do you, sea dog? So that's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and delete that and make it go back to not being a pirate. But that's just one of the things that you can do there. You can have the instructions, and then you can make it customized based off of what you are looking for. And that's really cool. Now, let's talk about the bottom here, because that's where we can do some other cool things. We have user, power user, and developer. Power user just gives you like a little bit of a look at like how many tokens and things that it's generating when it's trying to do some of the tasks at hand. A developer though, that one's where it gets really interesting. You get to look at some of the JSON files and the code of how it did some of the logic. So as you can see here, we got all of that great stuff right here to take a look at that. Now, over here is where we get into the developer sort of side of it. We get to look at the logs and how it ends up looking at things. We also have over here where we can have the server open, and we can have it be reachable at a certain IP address, like right here. Keep in mind also, this one's kind of hidden. This isn't based off of my local machine, but there is settings over here to where you can actually have it be on your local network So just something to keep in mind when you're testing out some of your different models. So if you try to do a tutorial based off of this, don't have this be clicked on, because you might not get the results that you're looking for. But over here we got all the info. It gives you a breakdown of everything out there. Your API identifier. On top of it, we have context. Context is so cool. So I can go here with like a new context and like name it. I can give it like, hey, only answer in rhymes. Kind of like what we did over here with asking it to, with its special instructions to talk like a pirate. We can do the same thing over here. We can also have it to where we import like some JSON files and things out there. So I can have it just like import like some of the things on my computer. So that's really cool. On top of that too, there is a special thing for it as well where you can import it from a URL. So if I find an article online or a website or a picture or something like that, I can actually use that as a reference material when using this AI system. And this is how we're able to craft a lot of our more specialized AI and try to get it to where it's more useful for what exactly we're looking for. Now, let's say that I also want to download a new model on here. I want a new model. I want to like load it in and go from there. I can go into here and I can go into my website and I can actually download some different models and then put them into this area right here, and then it will be listed on here. So obviously we have a cool ChatGPT model, but where do we get these data sets? Where do we get more models? How can we add them into our LM Studio to really get the customized look that we're looking for? Let's dive into that. All right, so now that we've actually talked about the beginning of it, first thing I wanted to show you is they have this wonderful Discover button here. This Discover button is able to find a bunch of the different models that are in its respective library, and there's just a ton. Just a ton. Some of the ones that are really cool are the uncensored models. So if you go here to uncensored models, they have like a lot of different ones. Some of these are obviously used for inappropriate things, but there is a couple of really cool ones on here that are based off of ChatGPT, like uncensored llama, and then it gives you instructions of how you can have it uncensored, and that makes it to where you don't have like the guardrails that are preventing you from being able to search certain things, or in the case for me, for example, cybersecurity based stuff, it gets kind of annoying when a chatbot and I'm doing research and it's telling me like, hey, I can't tell you what it is. I actually had this problem recently with SQL, where I was trying to ask about SQL-based attacks, and every single time I asked anything about it, it was like, nope, we ain't talking about it. But with this, I can make my own ChatGPT model and be like, hey, let's talk about SQL. What is some basic SQL attacks I could do? That type of stuff. So these are really cool models that you can end up running. Now, let's say, for example, that instead you want to do something else. You want to find more models out there, and you don't exactly know where to look. Well, let me do this for you. And there's this wonderful website called Hugging Face. Now, Hugging Face is a wonderful open source website where they have just a ton of different models. I mean, they got everything from Google's Gemma in there, OpenAI's latest model. They have Tencent, Quinn. I mean, there's just a ton of different things in there, and a variety of other things too. Like, say, like I want like image text to text, I can do something like that. Image to text, image to image. All different types of stuff, depending on whatever AI I end up wanting to develop. Now, on top of that too, they have datasets. Oh boy, do they have datasets. Now, datasets are more used for training LLMs. If in the event that you're using an LLM, it's not too much of a thing that you can really do. However, if you are ending up wanting to design your own AI, this is not a bad spot to check out. So they have like awesome like ChatGPT prompts that you can do. And there's also one of my favorite ones that they have on here, if I can actually find it, is right here, code vulnerability security. So that one's really cool, and they have like a security chat GPT. So these two models right here, and in general, beautiful, amazing. They are really clean, and they actually help out with a lot of bug bounties and things out there. I'm actually trying to get myself ready to do my first couple of bug bounties. I'm really excited to kind of test that out. But just overall, really cool data sets that you can use for if you're wanting to develop. And also with the power of RAG now, where you can use it as reference-based material. You can actually like download these or add them into your code. So like say like for example, I want to use this, I can actually have it to where it updates it with that data set. So really cool stuff overall, and I think it's really enjoyable to see this new program out here and to really just learn how to make your own AI and have it customized to you, because I think that's the way of the future. I think that's the way of the future of where we're going to get into this point where with AI we want it to do specific tasks to help us out, and I think it's cool to have this hands-on learning in a nice easy to learn GUI where as time goes on it gives you that little bit of a horizon to check out more things out there. Anyways, I know that this was a longer video, and I know that there is a lot of advanced topics in there that I couldn't quite get into, but I wanted to show you guys just kind of the overall basics, so that way you guys can try this out for yourself, make your own local AIs, and just jump into the fray, and just have a little bit of that inspiration out there to show it's not that as complicated as you think it is. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Try to get us up to 100 subscribers. That's my goal by the end of the year. Just get to 100 subscribers. But I want to thank you guys for watching, seriously. And I love all the support. And by all means, give me feedback. I want to make this channel better and better as time goes on. And the more I know that people are watching, the more I can do for you guys going forward. Anyways, love you guys. See you guys next time.